In this video, we are going to look at a data-driven method for predicting the over 2.5 goal market by removing the emotional guesswork and focusing on cold, repeatable numbers. And I will show you some real-world demonstrations of this logic in play so you can see exactly how it works. We are going to break the entire framework down into a clear, step-by-step life cycle. So, go put the kettle on and let's dive right in. That leads us neatly to phase 1, which is what I call the last 10 match rule. This is the foundation of our entire goal projection because before we can predict anything, we have to build a stable and reliable database. Now, the biggest mistake I see people making when they are learning this is they either look at far too much data or far too little. If you only look at the last 3 or 4 matches, the numbers are way too volatile and a single lucky result can skew your whole outlook. On the other hand, if you look at the full season stats, the data is too slow to reflect recent tactical changes or a dip in confidence. I used to make this same mistake myself, but it was only when I started looking at bigger datasets was when my sports investing started to improve. How we approach this correctly is by looking strictly at the last 10 league matches for each team. But here is the secret. We split the data between home and away form. For the home team, we only look at their last 10 matches played at home. For the away team, we only look at their last 10 games on the road. This matters because teams often play with a completely different tactical setup and intensity depending on the stadium. From those 10 games, we want to collect 5 key pieces of information: the average goals scored, the average goals conceded, the average shots on target, the average expected goals, and the average expected goals against. By doing this, we find the perfect balance between recency and reliability, giving us a baseline that truly reflects how these two teams interact in this specific environment. By the way, guys, if you want to skip all that manual data collection and find the best over 2.5 goal opportunities instantly, the Statto App is a brilliant shortcut. Instead of hunting through match logs yourself, you simply press the prompt and let the artificial intelligence do the heavy lifting for you. It turns hours of research into a few seconds, which is a massive advantage when you are first learning how to apply these systems and want to find the best opportunities without the headache of manual arithmetic. You can find the link in the description below or scan the QR code on the screen. Once you open the app, you just press the goals prompt and the artificial intelligence will mathematically break down the data for you and give you the most optimized over and under bet. I strongly recommend you give it a go if you're a serious sports investor. Anyway, once we have our data, we move into phase 2, which is where we actually calculate our expected goals. This is a mini lesson in how to smooth out the variance that football often throws at us. What most people do wrong here is they only look at actual goals scored, but as we know, a team can be incredibly lucky or desperately unlucky in front of goal over a 10-game period. To fix this, we use a blended projection. First, we take the goals-based projection by adding the home team's average goals scored to the away team's average goals conceded and then dividing that by 2. Then, we do the exact same thing but using the expected goals, or XG, data. That leads us to a crucial step where we blend those two numbers together. By averaging the goal-based projection with the XG projection, we get a much more accurate picture of what is likely to happen. For example, if we were looking at a match between Manchester United and Liverpool, and our math tells us that United's blended projection is 1.50 and Liverpool's is 1.65, we simply add those together. That gives us a total match projection of 3.15 goals. When we compare that 3.15 to the standard line of 2.5, we can clearly see that the data is leaning toward a high-scoring game. It is a simple piece of arithmetic, but it removes the vibes and replaces them with a logical anchor. By the way, if you like videos like this and want to see more on this subject, remember to click the like button. It tells YouTube to send you more of this kind of content. Also hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. That leads us neatly to phase 3, which is the contextual overlay. While the numbers provide our base, we have to remember that football isn't played in a vacuum, and context is what helps us adjust our confidence. What most people do wrong at this stage is they either ignore the context entirely or they let it override their data. We approach this correctly by using the numbers as our anchor and then making minor adjustments based on the human elements of the game. First, we look at team motivation. Is this a title race where both teams need to attack, or is it a relegation scrap where the fear of losing might cause a cagey, low-tempo affair? High urgency often leads to a higher tempo, which usually supports our over-lean. The next thing we consider is the weather. If there is heavy rain or high winds, it can often lower the finishing quality and slow the game down, so we might reduce our projections slightly. On top of that, we must check the team personnel. If a key defensive leader is missing for one side, we might increase our projection for the opponent. Conversely, if a top striker is out, we might scale back our expectations. We aren't looking to make massive changes here, usually only an adjustment of 0.15 to 0.25 goals. But it is these small professional tweaks that ensure our model accounts for the reality on the ground. I used to make the mistake of being too mathematical about this and not looking at these small details. But if you want an edge, you should take the 2 to 3 minutes to look all this up. That brings me to phase 4, which is our decision buffer. This is all about professional discipline and avoiding the coin flips that drain your bankroll. What most learners do wrong is they see a projection of 2.51 and they immediately place a bet on over 2.5, but that provides zero margin for error. We want to see a clear buffer between our projection and the market line. How we approach this correctly is by setting strict rules. If our blended projection is above 2.8, we consider it a strong lean for the over. If it sits between 2.6 and 2.8, it is a mild lean. However, if the projection is anywhere between 2.4 and 2.6, we simply walk away. There is no bet. We require that margin of safety to account for the natural variance of the game. This discipline ensures that we are only putting our capital at risk when the data shows a significant edge, rather than just gambling on a marginal outcome. And finally, we reach phase 5, which is the real edge, in-play price timing. This is where we turn a good prediction into a professional trade. Let's say we have identified a game that leans toward over 2.5 goals, but the pre-match price is only 1.75. That price doesn't offer much value. Most people will just take the low price and hope for the best. But the way we approach this correctly is by using the patience rule. If there is no goal in the first 15 to 20 minutes, that price of 1.75 will often drift out to 2.0 or even higher. Now, has the probability of a goal collapse just because it is still 0-0? Not necessarily. Football goals are not evenly distributed, and many high-scoring games start slowly. If we watch the match and see that the tempo is healthy, perhaps there are already 4 or 5 shots and the XG is building, then our original projection is still valid. But now, instead of taking a poor price, we are getting even money on an event that our model says is far more likely than 50%. That is where long-term profit lives. However, if a goal is scored in the first 10 minutes, we simply do nothing. We don't chase, we don't force an entry at a bad price, and we don't adjust the model. We accept that the value opportunity has gone and we move on to the next match. This requires incredible patience, but it allows you to be paid like you're betting on a coin flip when you are actually betting on a high probability event. By the way guys, if you want to skip all the hard work and find the very best value opportunities across all these matches, then the Statto app will save you an incredible amount of time. As you can see, you just press the prompt for the market you're looking for and let the artificial intelligence do the hard work for you. It provides a massive boost to your speed and efficiency, giving you well-researched opportunities in seconds that would take you hours to find manually. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen right now to get started. It is a serious game changer for anyone looking to professionalize their approach. I really hope this deep dive into the goal projection system has shown you that predicting total goals doesn't have to be a guessing game. When you apply structural discipline, use a blended data approach, and wait for the market to give you the right price, you are no longer just betting, you are operating a proven system. Thank you so much for watching and for your time today. If you found this useful, please do hit that like button to let me know. It tells YouTube to show you more of this kind of content. You should also hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss a video. As always, the learning shouldn't stop here. There is actually another video on the screen right now that I think you will find very interesting. It is a good one to watch next if you want to keep building your knowledge and sharpening your edge in the market. Go ahead and click that, and I will see you over there.